Hey, welcome to the Cyber Savvy Woman, where women business owners reclaim their power in the digital world. We shatter the myth that cybersecurity is too complex to master and transform protection strategies into clear, actionable guidance. This is your digital empowerment sanctuary, where cyber fear becomes cyber confidence. Whether you're protecting client trust as a therapist or safeguarding financial data as an advisor, you'll hear from women founders who've conquered digital challenges and security experts who speak your language. Every woman leading a business deserves to feel unshakable in her digital decisions, no matter her technical background. Are you ready to stop letting cybersecurity intimidate you and start letting it elevate you? Here's your host, Rachele Schainker.
Welcome back to the Cyber Savvy Woman, the podcast where we talk about business, technology, and staying secure in this digital-first world. I'm your host, Rachele Schainker, owner of the award-winning managed service provider, CMIT Solutions of San Mateo. Joining us today is Matt Neal, a relationship builder in the legal tech space at Kuro Group, where his team helps law firms collect, preserve, and actually make sense of complex digital evidence so attorneys can focus on what really matters, their cases. Matt, welcome to the show.
Rachele, thank you for having me.
Yeah, for our listeners who aren't, super up on legal technology, how do you explain eDiscovery in plain English? Let's start there.
Oh my gosh, electronic discovery. I try and break it down to the something that people understand, which is their cell phones. Everyone's on their cell phone. And so I say, "Hey, any electronic evidence that you leave, which is your electronic life, my team, their job is to go and find that, and it's available."
So what is, if somebody comes to you, if a law firm comes to you and they're like, okay, we need some help, we need to get this data together, take us kind of through that process. What is the first thing you do? How do you like get your head around the scope of that?
That's really great that you asked that question because I used to be really quick to give answers. Okay, what device do you have? How big is it? It's ultimately that's what you're trying to find is like where does the data come from? But because data is coming from so many different sources, it's in the cloud, it's on your servers, it's coming from so many different sources that I used to say, oh, well, let's just do a remote collection of that iPhone and this is what it'll cost. It'll be really simple. Let's do this. And there's so many different technical aspects to it that my team has taught me not to say, oh, yeah, we can do it. We'll get it done next Thursday. This is what it'll cost. It's complicated. Let's ask the right questions. So we have to, first of all, find out, is this part of an investigation? Are they just doing an investigation? Or is this part of litigation? Because we have to approach those things differently, right? So it's like, is this something that's going to go to trial, or are you trying to find the smoking gun or the needle in the haystack?
Yeah, interesting. You shared with me previously that you were relatively new to the legal space. What kind of inspired you to pivot and, develop these tools where you can work with the e-discovery for lawyers? Take us back to that story.
Gosh, so I was teaching ear surgeons and ear doctors how to think differently about themselves because they were didn't want to do advertising. I didn't become a surgeon so that I could do advertising, and so I was this evil person that was trying to convince them to not just hang a shingle out but to really advertise. And so that was a really, really great and wonderful career path where I was a creative director, I was the owner, I was the marketing director, I was the sales guy, and I had a team that did a lot of other things as well, but I also had two partners, and I really didn't like making decisions where I wasn't in charge. And so when COVID came around, I was like, dude, I want to transition to something else. I want to really go and help small business owners, these ear doctors. I want to help them one on one. And COVID wasn't really the great place for that, to have old people coming into your office. So I built my consulting firm for that, but in the midst of that, my cousin and a few of my friends have been in the legal tech space for a long time, and they said, "Hey, Matt, you have a very unique skill set of being able to help business owners see what what's not keeping them up at night, but should. And so we would love to have you come into legal." And they were running a boutique legal conference that's called the Masters Conference, which is thought leadership for people that are in the lit support and e-discovery space, technologists, attorneys, general counsel. And so I just started playing around and going to those conferences, and they were like, "Dude, we would love for you to come and build relationships." And specifically, my business partner now, Alex, was like, "You can build relationships. We have technology that no one else has. We've built something that's really, really special." And so I said, "Okay, I'll learn the technology. I'll become a tech bro." Like that. Been so great. This is no joke, right? I come with 20 years of marketing and sales expertise, and I come into legal, and now all of a sudden I want to be a tech bro. Or- and where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna upskill on all the technologies. I'm gonna learn all these review platforms. These people have been doing this for 20 years. Okay, you're not gonna like out tech talk them.
No, no.
Where you're like, well, this is part of the FBIR and the EDRM model and blah blah blah. And and so the wonderful thing that has happened is I don't have to be a creative director. I don't have to run finance. I have to go and build relationships and find people that need the solution that we have. And so everything has changed for me because the value that I bring to the table is not my technical expertise. Now, look, I have a whole crew of super nerds. Well, I shouldn't have said that because this is going to be online. They are the technologists of technologists. When we have conversations, it's like I'm talking to a completely different type of human because they totally are. They function differently. And so not having to be that and being able to sit in the right seat and connect those my people with the right people who need their solution is totally life-giving. Now, the one thing I will tell you about legal is attorneys are risk averse, and so in order to first you have to develop trust, but then it's really convincing them that it's riskier not to make a good decision than it is to make that good decision has really been the hurdle for me.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I can appreciate that because, owning an IT company myself, like I am not an engineer. I have that group of engineers over there, and I am also in a similar space, right? It's connecting our clients with them and kind of helping everyone work together because sometimes the technical people can be a little technical and the business side is they don't need that. So I understand. It's a great place to sit between the two, and I also really enjoy that. You guys really focus on small and mid-sized law firms. What about that niche? Why were you specifically looking for that? Is it because large organizations maybe already have this in house, or what was the need that you saw there for small law firms?
Yeah, so we acquired a forensics lab in Denver, which does set us apart a little bit because most large law firms or law firms don't do the forensics themselves. But when it comes to our target market of small and medium-sized law firms, most large law firms, as for lit support, they have huge tech stacks that are already managed for technology. They have huge project management teams, and that's literally what we do. We help small and medium-sized law firms pick which technologies, buy those technologies for doing document review and culling information at I don't say Walmart prices, basically at white labeled prices so that they can have a bespoke solution. And most big law firms already have. We do work with some big law firms because we are able to offer a few shiny objects, a few things that the tech stacks don't include, but they generally have that already taken care of except for forensics.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And dude, Rachel, you know how this is. You love doing what you do well, and you love being somebody's superhero, right? You don't want to be the shiny object. You want to be solving problems.
Yeah, you want to set them up to succeed. Yeah, no, totally makes sense. You know, we talked about unstructured data like Slack or Teams and mobile messages. Why is that such a big deal in litigation today?
Gosh, it's such a big deal in litigation today because it's because of privacy, because and because of the way that our lives are. So modern data travels. And anyone that works in any corporate environment or even in a small business environment knows the way that levels it's sort of like love languages for business where you got email and then you have Teams and then you have Slack and then you have your messages, right, on your phone where if it's going to DEF CON messages, somebody's trying to get a hold of you. And that but the thing about modern data is you can't treat it like email because it's not like a question and then a reply, a question and a reply. It's this conversation where all of a sudden we're talking about business and then we're talking about the baseball game and what the kids are doing and volleyball.
Yeah, interesting. So it's fragmented, really fragmented.
It's really fragmented because it's not subject based, and so you have to have ways to go and get that information. And we all know the way that that information isn't just on one channel where you can sequester it. Now it is that's the beautiful part about my team is they take something like Slack that's like, oh my gosh, we have 600 custodians. They're all stockbrokers, and we need to know who was on the channel, who was communicating, who picked up, noticed it within 2 minutes. So there's ways to take that unstructured data that seems like, remember the era of big data, we're all yay big data.
Right.
Now we're like, can we just have less data? That's what my team does is they make that usable where it's like, hey, here's everybody that picked these Slack messages up within 3 minutes for these dates. And it's because all of the places that we're going for information and the channels that we're communicating on are different channels and the way that they all function is different. Like I'll give you a really quick for instance, and I don't want to go on and on.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. It really is.
It's the kind of stuff that gets me excited, and it does bridge the gap between my team and what's happening because they are super nerding out on really hard problems and getting very very excited about it. And then when they tell me, they're like, hey Matt, this was the exciting thing last week. They were like, when you're within teams and you're chatting in Teams, when you share a document, it's not like sharing a Google Doc where you have all these versions, it's happening. It goes to a different location on SharePoint. And the way that it handles that data. So my team is taking all these things apart and they're like, hey, we solved this problem that Microsoft, gosh, now I'm on a webinar podcast talking about Microsoft, but Microsoft created this problem where now you can't find linked attachments within chats. Well, that's something that you need. And so we can go and get the specific version that pointed to instead of this or that. And it's like, so that's what my team, that's what eDiscovery is solving those riddles of like, how do we find out? Because we're all working with these documents that are like, I don't know if you're like me, but have you been like, I need to save this? But you don't, right?
Oh, yeah. No, it's all well, yes.
And so when we're talking about like with forensics and electronic discovery, what we're trying to do is it's all about collection and preservation. So we need to know that we're looking at the right thing because we're going to use it in court.
Yeah, interesting.
So it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah. Is there are there different kinds of data that are attorneys are asking for today that maybe they weren't asking for 5 years? Are you seeing new or is their ask changing or is it kind of staying the same?
It's changing. They're wanting every kind of communication app And one of the other things that's changed is they used to want everything. It used to be like, let's get the 4 windows of the device and collect everything, and I'm gonna talk out of both sides of my mouth. Because it used to be like, let's get everything, and now because data storage and even culling all of the information is so difficult, they're basically pre-culling.
Oh, interesting.
Going and saying, "Hey, let's don't collect everything," or let's say that you have a custodian where it's one of the guys in the C-suite, and he doesn't want everything collected off of his phone. He's fine with all work communications, and, that sort of opens up a can of worms with the reason why this is happening, Rachel, today is bring your own device to work.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And what people are seeing more and more and more and more, the whole industry is saying mobile device, communication channels, but it's everything, and everything's in the cloud as well.
Yeah, yeah, theoretically, yes. Until it's not. If a company, they delete a message thinking they're cleaning up, what can still be recovered? Like, how far back can you guys go? Like, how do what happens when you see can you see, I'm assuming you can see something has been deleted, but then everything theoretically leaves a fragment. Are you able to go grab those deleted things also?
I'm gonna give you my canned response.
Yes, please do.
It depends.
Yeah, everything depends. Yeah.
But nothing's ever deleted. In reality, even if you delete text, let's use an extreme example so we don't have to go into every example. If I texted you and you texted me and then I smashed my phone, but we got a subpoena to go and collect information from your phone, we can find every text that we ever sent, even if I deleted them. N- in reality, nothing is ever deleted.
Yeah, exactly. It's just how much do you wanna spend to get it, right?
It's, yeah. Do you have the right to go get it, and how much do you want to spend?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, interesting. Let's talk a little bit about, what you're seeing with from cybersecurity inside law firms and kind of what their stance is. You working with attorneys on a daily basis. How tech savvy do you feel law firms are? Are you impressed? Do you think there's room to grow, or is it just kind of all over the map?
Wow, that's a really loaded question for our audience.
Yeah, well, I'm just curious. I mean, just in general, or do you feel like they're being tech smart?
Yes. So I'll say yes, but I would say the attorneys themselves, probably not. If it's a small and medium-sized law firm where the attorneys running the IT themselves, or making those decisions. But even in law firms, large law firms, you don't want the partners making those decisions. They've surrounded themselves with attorneys who are experts in that field. And when it comes to cybersecurity, I would say, gosh, how do I judge that? I would say that when it comes to cybersecurity, that attorneys are adequately prepared and educated. Um, I think I think it's something they're always freaked out about, which is risk, right? And the thing that I hear them talking about with risk now is AI, and it's not necessarily like hallucinations, or like personal use of it, and
Yeah, the personal data going into a model.
it's more like regulating it internally of like, how do we get internal compliance where we're not stepping outside of the bounds?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, makes sense. How do you see IT providers and eDiscovery teams working together more effectively? Do you ever, come to an IT provider and they kind of like stiff arm you, or does everybody kind of work well together, or like how do you manage those relationships?
We work really great with the IT department because we're moving a lot of data, and our team are very, very particular because everything's court related. They're very particular, and just who they are. They're very particular about what they do. So IT departments, IT folks generally love our team, where they're like, "Yes, someone that's gonna play by the rules, do all of the right things."
Yeah. Yeah. Gonna help this. Yeah. That's great. I love that. Is there a question that a law firm should be asking, as they're choosing an e-discovery or forensic partner? What should they be looking for in a partner like yourself?
Well, attorneys are driven by case, right? So they're not sitting around thinking like, "What kind of e-discovery software do I need to buy?" Uh, and I would say the thing that really differentiates us is you're gonna get a straight line to help. And because we're agnostic, even if we're not the solution, we can point you to someone else. But that's what I hear most, because with eDiscovery and forensics, you have 8 people that show up on a scoping call because someone wants to bill for that instead of that's what's needed, or you want someone that's gonna be able to take care of your case needs and scale, get you the project managers if you do get something that's really huge where you have quality control. I think there's a lot to it, and so it's just letting people know this is what we're really good at, and if we're not good at it, what we really want is for you to win that case.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. You shared with me that you follow a Zig Ziglar mindset of helping others first. How has that kind of helped your business grow?
I think when you the way that it's helped our business grow is it has disarmed people so that they know that we have their highest good in mind. And we have proved that out by pointing people in directions that aren't necessarily in our own direction. And what that does is it lets people know that you want to be good at what you're good at, and you want other people to you want what their need is to be the most prominent thing, because as well as I do, the way that business works is we're playing the long game here.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows when somebody's going to need a forensics collection? Who knows when someone's going to need a forensic examiner? Who knows when someone will need. And so if people know what kind of folks we are and they know what we do, then we don't have to, and we're helping them get what they want. That's really a winning combination.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean it's that kind of that giver's gain. I also subscribe to that, right? It's like you want to help others and it will come back and um yeah, it makes sense to me. Let's talk a little bit more about AI playing a role. How do you see it playing a role in e-discovery in the next few years? Or how do you use it? Do you use any AI models, or like how what let's go into that a little bit more. I'm curious.
Rachel, really? Dude, really? This is, oh my gosh. Okay, so I wanna frame this in a way that's entertaining and fun for all of us. My answer for this would have been different 2 weeks ago,
Wow. Wow.
like, completely different.
Yeah. It's changing so fast. I know. It's
Well, not on like, my answer for you personally and as a company would have been different 2 weeks ago, because we're making some decisions and have made we've been working on an initiative for several months, right? But within legal specifically, that's what I'm talking about, because last week, Claude just launched Claude for Legal, which has legal skills for writing documents. Not only that, it also has 12 plugins or 20 plugins with the biggest software providers within eDiscovery and the legal community, to where now you can just go and have a conversation with Claude within, I, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the names, Relativity, Everlaw, whatever. There now you can have Claude go work for you within your review platform, and you don't need a review team supposedly. Now, this is all in wet cement, but like I said, this is a week old. So within legal, you have, oh gosh, the whole adoption of AI has to be totally different, because if you ask an attorney, should I do this? They'll say no, because they're so risk averse, or they're like, dude, there's hallucinations. I don't know about this. But And all of us, none of us want to get replaced by AI, right? So there's always this like, okay, is this going to replace me? Is this going to fire my team? And you also, gosh, see, I don't know how much I can tell on the industry because there's also huge technology companies, bleep, Lagora, Harvey. There's these huge companies that have spent billions of dollars and 5 years building something that some attorney in his garage vibe coded something that's very similar for in 2 weeks and sent it to them. And so I think within legal, AI is one of those things that everybody's using it. Come on. The AI, the governance of AI, I don't know where everybody's at, but I know everyone's monkeying with it and they're not all using enterprise level.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like for me, it's like you need to be using enterprise level software. You need to have a lot of policies in place. And but it's very prevalent. I think it's like the big scary gorilla. It's that oh no, what's it gonna do?
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I think it does change so quickly, and it's just curious to see. We're rolling out this a platform where it has all the LLMs inside of it to organizations, and I sent it out as a pilot program to 80 clients, and it was curious to see their feedback, right? Because I haven't really gone down the road and be like, "What's your stance?" Like I've talked to a handful, but I haven't really I haven't done a survey of everybody and where they are, and it was across the board. It was from no AI at all to fully invested, all the tools. I mean, it was just like it was a rainbow. It was everything. And I was like, all right, well, this is where we'll start, and we'll go from here, because it is my biggest concern is just making sure they're using it safely, and it's secure and not that a free version.
Well, and we work. Being in the cybersecurity space, I think that you would have a lot better perspective on that. We work with a lot of cybersecurity firms because we're doing forensics collections, and some of them are like insurance agencies and it's always so interesting to see what we think the threat is and what the actual threat is.
Oh, right, yeah. Because a lot of times it's just the person, right? It's the human. It's not the tool, it's the human, unfortunately. So, yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. But are you using AI at all in the tools that you are building to help with your e-discovery of the unstructured data?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So we do a lot of work with the government
Uh-huh. Sure.
and Freedom of Information Act, FOIA requests, and you're basically matching social security numbers, medical records, HIPAA, making sure that everything is deduped off of each other.
Interesting. Well, I love what you're doing, and I love how you're helping the lawyers, and I think it's very interesting. So we've reached the part of the podcast where I'm going to ask you a quick little rapid fire question. You're just going to say first thing comes to mind. No right or wrong answer. But what's your favorite, email or Slack evidence?
Favorite Slack or email evidence? It would be text message.
Text message. All right, great. I love that.
And it's when they're fake.
Yeah. Oh,
It's when because there's apps that you can go buy online that you can create any text messages that you want, and it's people that are taking snapshots on their phone of text messages thinking that that's defensible in court.
yeah. Oh, and you can unwind that. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, or making fake ones.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. All right, what about cloud storage or local preservation?
Funny stories.
Yes. I love that. Uh, are you picking one? Are you thinking about one?
The one that comes to mind is Anthropic. Just in the news that Anthropic just deleted someone's database autonomously.
Oh, What about AI review or human review?
Oh my gosh. I say both. I say use AI review and then put human eyes on it.
Yes, me too. Me too. I Yes, yes, I agree. Data minimization or data retention?
Oh gosh, both. That so rot, repetitive, obsolete, and trivial information. It's all about getting rid of that. But I don't know how many of us have Google Drives or hard drives. Do you have any hard drives sitting in your closet with family pictures on them?
I do.
So do I, except I don't have the cord that came with that.
Well, I probably can help you with that. Um, final question. What does being cyber savvy mean to you?
I think being cyber savvy uh, means to me being humble and realizing that you're human and you're fallible.
Mm, I like that.
It's also realizing that you can be robotic and just do like realizing the things that you do autonomously and then listening for that thing that feels a little bit off. They say that the people that always catch counterfeiters are cashiers because they touch money all day. And when they touch something that is inauthentic, they touch the authentic so much that they can tell something that isn't real. And so I think just staying humble, also staying cyber savvy or being cyber savvy is also communicating. And that's part of being humble is like in our team, we send each other messages all the time. Like they'll send a message and say, dude, don't ever say happy Friday to me again because somebody hacked our system and I'm sending a message to them in SharePoint that says happy Friday. And they know I don't say happy Friday. Every day is a happy day.
Oh, yeah.
So it's being willing to tell your team, "Hey, I just fell for this spoof. I just got totally and I should have known. I didn't even see that email, that's not even our email, and I thought this was HR." So staying humble of realizing that you can be fooled, communicating with your team, and not getting lackadaisical and realizing, dude, there are threat actors out there. And one of the things that I learned just recently in being in this forensic thing is the threat actors are not the ones that you think they are. It's not countries, it's not the Chinese, it's not the communists. It's like a 15-year-old that's on a signal chat with his buddies that are they're doing it for fun.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's so true. And I love your comment about like being open. I mean, that's what something that we talk about is we really want our clients to create that safe space where everyone can be like, hey, this looked weird. I kind of clicked on something, so there's no shaming. It's like it's gonna happen. Everyone's gonna do it, but just knowing, you have the right support there to like get you out of it is very important.
we've we've started to make jokes about it because I'll use my name instead of the coworker, but a coworker sent me an email and it said, "I am Matt Neal." And, and I responded because I thought he was being funny.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you are so funny.
That's how we chat, right? I'm like, okay, I'm Matt Neal too, right? And so now it's becoming a joke where now on the chat, everybody's like, I am this and I am me.
Yeah. All right, Matt. I love that. Today, my biggest takeaway with you is, in today's world, our emails are just a very small piece of the story. Our chats, text, Teams message, mobile data, all of that is part of our digital footprint. And, it all matters. It matters, maybe more than businesses realize. Matt, I appreciate you coming today. And to our listeners, please check out our show notes so you can find links to connect with Matt and learn more about his data forensics journey, which is so fascinating. And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. It was a gas.
The Cyber Savvy Woman podcast requires more than a conversation. It takes action, research, and collective wisdom. If today's episode resonated with you, we'd love to hear your insights. Join the conversation and help us shape the future together. We'll be back with more stories, strategies, and real-world solutions that are making a difference for everyone. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe, rate, write a review, and share it with someone you think would benefit from it too. Hey, thanks for listening, and see you on the next episode.